shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
As a rancher in western South Dakota, you know the meaning of hard work. From working cattle to working in the field, you know that the job begins before dawn and can last into the night. You also know that at the end of the day, it's more than just work. It's a way of life. When it comes to banking, you need a bank that values your time and is committed to your growth. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in South Dakota, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in South Dakota. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
In round one of the Masters, Sam Burns and defending champion Rory McIlroy are tied for the lead, both shooting 5 under 67s today. In the NBA, Philadelphia 76ers star Joel Embiid undergoing an appendectomy today in Houston and won't play, therefore, in tonight's game against the Rockets. The Golden State Warriors ruled Steph Curry out for tonight's game against the Lakers because of right knee injury management. The Boston Celtics ruled out Jaylen Brown for their game tonight against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden due to left Achilles tendonitis. The Wall Street Journal reports the Justice Department has opened an investigation into whether the NFL is engaged in anti-competitive tactics harming consumers by fragmenting their media rights to multiple pay streaming services. Baseball, 3 A's pitchers combined for a one-hitter today in a 1-0 victory over the Yankees. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. We're ready to go on a Thursday. The Nate Brown Show back, and glad you're here. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live on Fox Sports Radio. It is always a great day in South Dakota. You know that. Let's bring it tonight a little bit. Let's have some fun, huh? Thought-provoking sports talk across South Dakota from high school to college to the pros. We got you covered. Welcome in on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Out of the gate tonight, some great guests across the board, and it is a Thursday. That means it's Thursday Happy Hour. Thursday Happy Hour with Rob Kegron. He's live in studio. Rob is ready to go. He's a big Masters guy. He's a big Masters guy, so Rob Kegron's going to be all over the Masters and more. I'm going to get into this as well. Rob Kegron coming in next hour as our guest host. Let's get going. We are streaming on X right now, at Nate Brown Show. Find us on X, at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live. Welcome in studio there. Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. You've got us on Midwest Sports Plus. This show is live. And also YouTube. We are up. The Nate Brown Show. Find our YouTube channel. Watch us live. Archive shows are there as well. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. You've got us. Let's look at the guest lineup tonight. We've got John Bryce coming in. Haven't talked to John in a long time. College football national writer for USAtoday.com. John Bryce making an appearance. We'll go to John Mamola. First time on the program. John's a columnist for Barrett Sports Media. He wrote a piece on this NFL Department of Justice story that just came out today. So we'll get on that national story with John Momola live from Florida, Barrett Sports Media, a longtime radio guy, and now he's with Barrett Sports Media, covers the sports media landscape. Mike McFeely's in tonight from Fargo, North Dakota. News out of the transfer portal or not from Fargo. Mike McFeely is in, columnist for Inforum.com. Packed lineup tonight, and then we'll hit it up with Rob Kegron coming up in a Thursday happy hour. If you want in tonight, we'll do our best. 605-720-1067. Join us there. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch at East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Stop by Brandon location. Great Fun Zone arcades for the kids. Bring the family and enjoy the best buffet in town. Everyone's favorite buffet is at the Pizza Ranch, locally owned and operated. Stop by East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and the location in Brandon. Hit us on the text line as well if you want to win a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch. You got to answer our question of the day. It's a fun one tonight, so get ready. Hit us up on this, 605-720-1067. Be a part of the show. I enjoy interacting there on the text line. It's for you. Barron's Wilson text line is open, 605-720-1067, your direct line. Into the Barron's Wilson text line. You send in an answer to the question of the day, we could set you up with a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch. How about that? So let me start with this. I told you it's Masters Week, and I think many of you are what? Many of you are going to watch the Masters hit and miss today, tomorrow, and then a lot of you are going to get into this for the weekend, right? I mean, especially the golf fanatics out there. So I don't know how many golf fanatics I have, but I am going to tell you, I do watch the Masters. Of course, when you're doing a sports radio show, you got to watch all of this stuff. I mean, I really try and take it all in. Even if I'm not an expert golfer, an expert hockey guy, I like golf. I like playing golf. I never have time to play golf. Maybe that's in my next life that's coming up. However, I'm going to tell you, you are going to get into this weekend. At least most people will. Casual fans are even going to watch it if it's tight on Sunday. You're going to be watching the final stretch, who's going to be where and how this thing's going to play out. But I am going to say this. So this came up something that I was thinking about. Because with Rob Kegron coming in this next hour, he's going to be all Masters. I mean, he's going to be all over this. I'm surprised we can even get him on the show tonight, because he just wants to keep watching golf all day. That's where Rob's at. I wanted to ask this question of the day because people say to me, and I've had people call in over the years, you have to go to the Masters at least once, okay? If you are listening to the Nate Brown Show right now, okay? You're listening to the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota. If you have went to the Masters, you let me know. Hit me up on the text line, and then people always say, you just have to. It's one of the premier. You've got to. That's up there with. You got to go to the Kentucky Derby. You got to go to the Masters. You have to go to a World Series, and the list goes on. I do not put the Masters near the top of my list when it comes to major sporting events that I really want to go to, and it could just be that. Oh, you're not a golf guy. You don't respect. I mean, this is the all-timer. This is historic. This is Augusta. You got to be taking this in. If I was maybe a golf fanatic, that might be one thing. Honestly. If I was a golf fanatic, I'm sure you're going to go there, and I have had golfers tell me this. It does not go near the top of my list, and I will tell you this why. I have went to PGA Tour events. I've went to the PGA Championship twice. So I've been to golf majors. It's not like I'm just speaking out of turn here. I actually did my show live at the PGA Championship. I can't remember the exact year. I'm losing my memory, as you might know, but it was at Whistling Straits, PGA Championship. Bubba Watson was in the running towards the end. Dustin Johnson was also there. And I'm sitting here watching this thing play out, and it was interesting over those days as I was there covering it live. Watching golf live, the reason I haven't put the Masters at one of the top of my list, if I got to go to a big-time sporting event, watching golf in person hasn't been the best experience. I have to say, you got to grind it out, like try and follow a player. You got to try and stay at a hole. I don't know how this would go. At the PGA Championship, I couldn't even get in the mix. I had a media pass. I couldn't even get in the mix to watch good golfers like up close. I can't see the ball. They hit the ball off the tee. I can't see where it goes. So my point I'm getting at, my top sporting events have to be something that you enjoy in person that make it better when you're there. I can walk around the grounds at Augusta. What am I supposed to feel all warm and fuzzy inside? I just get to go to Augusta. I would not pay those dollars. I'm not going to pay those dollars to watch the Masters live in person. I'm going to get a better experience on the TV. There is this thing in sports today. People say, well, I don't go to NFL games. I'm not going to the Vikings game. I'm not going to do that because it's a better view on TV. I can watch everything. I can see everything. I don't have to put up with drunk Larry next to me going crazy. So people are trying to paint this out of, are sports better on TV than in person? And I'm going to tell you, I think the Masters is, not at the top of my list for in-person viewing. Is this a bad thing to say on the opening day of the Masters? It could be. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you tell me. You go ahead.
Hey, Nate. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. You have an opinion on this.
Yeah, from one, this is one of your golf fanatic listeners. But yes, the Masters, I agree with you that, if you're not into golf, it probably wouldn't be the best use of, your resources, because it's all about, it is similar, though. If you're into golf, just stepping on that, stepping out there, my ear or my hair stood up on my, it's okay. It's one of those things. You just got to be there. It's if you're, you're a Cubs fan,
yes,
and you go to Wrigley Field,
yes,
it's just something that you're I agree with you that you have to be into it, but the Masters is way different than other golf events, and I'll tell you why. Because one, they don't let as big a crowds in.
Okay.
And two, it's the most manicured piece of real estate probably anywhere. It's unbelievable. Even non-golf people that, if you like to take care of your lawn, it's amazing to see how manicured those grounds are and just how beautiful it is once you get in there.
I believe that. The scenery, the scene, the whole thing. So watching the Masters live is great to you in person.
It was, and, I've only been once, but and it's pricey endeavor. It's you go there and you have to pay for the hotel, which is way overpriced for what it is, just because it's kind of I equated it to a little bit to Sturgis up here. It's everybody's gouging prices for hotels and things like that. But once you get out there, it is unbelievable. The beers and the concessions are cheap. Consider way cheaper than going to an NFL game and things like that.
Yes.
And then once you have some competition on the back nine and you start hearing the noises and the the galleries from different holes, it just, you would like it, but it might not be your best sporting event, and I get that.
All right, that's a good sell job, man. I like that. Good energy. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. That's a good effort by him. That's a good effort by the golf fanatic to try and get me. As a matter of fact, though, I'm asking the audience tonight here as we start. The Masters has just gotten going. Rory's tied for the lead, by the way, if you haven't been following this. 5 under today, 67 for McIlroy. What are the top sporting events that have to be worse to watch in person than on TV? That's my question of the day on the text line. It doesn't have to be golf. It doesn't have to be that. But I would put golf in that category. I've went to the PGA Championship. I have not been to the Masters. So I've done the PGA Championship Major. I had a good time. I really thought it was unique. I thought it was great. It was a grinder walking Whistling Straits, and you're trying to find which golfer should I watch. And I had to follow around Davis Love, Tom Lehman. I mean, those guys are great. They're great. But I just had to get in so I could actually watch them. You couldn't watch anybody else. So with golf, I'm like 7 deep. You're like 7 deep. You can't see the ball. I'm putting golf in the category of a top sporting event that's worse to watch in person than on TV. I'm putting golf in that category. Are you? Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'll just point out the obvious. I think it depends on where you're sitting. I mean, if you've got 50-yard line, 10 rows up for the Super Bowl, great. But if you're in the third or fourth deck and the players look like ants, then I might as well stay home.
Okay,
or let's say you have some sort of VIP pass for the Masters, and you can pick any place you want to go, and you're in the front row versus you can't see anything, and you're just meandering around.
Okay, so you wouldn't do that either. If you're 8 deep in the gallery at the Masters, you wouldn't like that.
Well, I'm not a huge golf fan, but the last caller brought up just about how beautiful the course was. That I think would be pretty cool to see in person. So I think I would go once just to kind of see and take it all in. But if I'm standing behind a guy that's 6'6" and I can't see anything, what's the point?
All right. And it's going to cost you thousands. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. Oh, okay. So you guys tell me on the text line if you would, and we'll try and get some calls if we can here over the next 5 minutes. 605-720-1067. Top sporting event that's worse to watch in person than on TV. And yes, when I'm saying this, I'm not front row at the Final Four. I'm not front row. I mean, we can't handle that. I know we got big money in South Dakota. We aren't going to get front row courtside Final Four. I'm not talking NBA Finals courtside. I'm saying worst sporting event that, like, you're just a casual fan and you're going to the Masters. You don't have VIP, okay? You might get a leftover cheese sandwich and you're 10 deep in the gallery. This isn't the Sanford International in Sioux Falls, the Champions Tour. I've been to the Champions Tour as well, when it was the 3M in Minneapolis. That was fun. That was a blast. There's not a ton of people there. Golfers are really accessible. I could fall around some of the Champions Tour guys. It's amazing. So I'm not saying golf's a bad watch live. I'm telling you, when you're at a premier event and you don't have big money or a big, like VIP, I don't think the Masters, people tell me you got to go to the Masters at least once. I'm not in on that. So I'm out on the Masters. It's got to be, I think, worse to watch live than on TV. I'm going to watch it on TV. I am going to put Final Four basketball into this list for me. I am putting the Final Four. You couldn't get a bigger basketball fan than me. I watched every single tournament. I mean, I'm watching basketball. I'm a huge college hoops fan, NBA fan. I do not want to go to the Final Four and be in a football stadium and try to watch these guys. That looks like a mess. That looks like a disaster. My high school basketball coach went to the Final Four every year. Did you know that? Trivia of the day. My high school basketball coach went to the Final Four every single year. That was like his vacation after we were done with our season. And he always said, you got to go to the Final Four. I have not been to the Final Four. I don't think I want to go to the Final Four if I have to be up in a football stadium like US Bank Stadium watching from where? That's a tough watch for me. That's as bad as golf at the Masters being 10 deep. I am going to throw this one in. Worst sporting events to watch in person rather than on TV. Worst sporting events. I'm going to throw this one in. NASCAR. I think NASCAR live. What is it? What am I watching live? Michael Jordan, you're all excited about this. Yeah, I mean, what are we watching? You're up in the stands. You're seeing whoosh, whoosh. It's like, what else is? I'm not watching NASCAR. I can see what's happening on TV. I can see all that stuff and the up close stuff and get all the stats and the pit stops and all that. I don't need to be at the racetrack watching the oval. I don't need to be watching the oval. I don't find that. Now, I'm not a NASCAR fan, so you can probably throw that one into the category as well. So NASCAR is going to be top near the top of my list. And by the way, F1. Anybody out there an F1 fan? Like, they were paying huge dollars to that Las Vegas F1 race. I went to Vegas before it was going on, and they were just, that looked like a mess. That looked like an absolute disaster. I mean, the road course, the whole thing, the F1 thing looked like a mess. So I'm going to put, those are my sporting events. Worse to watch in person than on TV. You send yours in. By the way, last but not least, Tour de France. You guys, I don't really watch the Tour de France. I hate to break it to everybody. That's one category I don't really get up and watch. Tour de France. You see these guys in France in the mountains, in the villages, and they're all just going bonkers. I mean, they're into it. And they got cyclists going by them. They go by them, and then they're gone. What do you guys do? You guys sit there and wait on the road for you see a 30-second deal, and the guys go by. That's it? Somebody said, "Oh, you should go to the Tour de France. It's an amazing experience." No. I'm going to go to France and like Europe and like tour. I'm not going to be watching guys in tights on bikes. Sorry. Okay. So there's my sporting events that are worse in person. Those are my top four. Golf, I mean, the Masters, to me, not really excited about it in person. Because I know I get to Augusta, it costs me a fortune, and then I don't get to watch the guys I really want to watch. And I can't see everything, and I got to walk all over the place and put up with, by the way, somebody sent in, no cell phone and going off the grid at Augusta. Sign me up for the weekend. Let's see. So golf, the Masters, worse in person. Final Four basketball, I don't find it appealing. I'm going to watch that on TV every time. NASCAR, throw in F1. Be careful. Matt Kearney's the expert race guy in South Dakota. He's looking at me very strangely right now. He doesn't want me to say anything more about racing, but racing's going to be up there in person, on TV. And Tour de France is just another, it's just like, what? This is a great bike race. I'll watch that one on TV. I can see all the racers. I don't have to try and go to a French village and make sure I don't run into a bike and wreck the whole race. That would be my luck. Lister text, I'm a huge F1 fan. Was an amazing experience. I went to Silverstone, and it was worth the money. Well, I'm just telling you, I haven't watched a lot of F1. Going down to Las Vegas, I saw where they set it up outside of the Bellagio there. They were like setting up the course. And I guess you just see the cars go by in that road race every now and then, right? They come around. That doesn't do it for me. But good job for you. We found a F1 fan. Lister text, soccer. I don't like watching it live. The worst flops. Yes, I understand. Another one. The Augusta Country Club seems overhyped to me. There are a lot of prettier golf courses in the U.S. Pebble Beach, Whistling Straits. Personally, I can't understand how people enjoy watching golf on TV. If a person doesn't fall asleep watching a golf tournament, they're some kind of robot. What? I'm watching it on TV. That's what Sunday's for. You know how many naps I've taken in the last 10 years? Not enough, I will tell you. Okay, so if I can get a little golf nap in and stay plugged into the Masters, I'm feeling good. How about this one? Kentucky Derby just came in. Worse to watch live than on TV. I like horse racing. I like horse racing live. Now, big track. You don't get to see everything. You got to have to wait till the horses to come around so you can see who's in the lead. It's a fast event, so I know what you're saying. It's like the whole day you drink all those drinks. Well, anyway, and then it's a mess. And then you do, like a minute? There's a minute of horse racing. So I see what you're saying there. I do like horse racing, though. I do. John Bryce is joining us tonight. Keep those coming in. We want to see. I want to know your top sporting events that are worse to watch in person than on TV. Worst to watch in person, would you? There's my top 4. Now you know. John Bryce coming up from USA Today, college football national writer on tap.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big money on your next project with help from Menards. Be prepared for flooding and keep your basement dry with Barracuda pumps. Barracuda makes high-quality pumps that offer dependable performance for when you need it most. Save big money on all Barracuda pumps now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling surplus shop tools, construction and support equipment, some home stake-related items like new power tools. We've got shop benches, there's chain boomers, straps, office desks, tables, chairs. Final auction preview this afternoon from 3 to 5. The items are located at 1130 East St. James, the former Black Hills Milk Plant building just south of the fairgrounds in Rapid City, South Dakota. For more details and to bid and buy on this auction, closing 6 p.m. today, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Mr. Liquor's the only place to find select bottles of bourbons and whiskeys custom etched with the most popular South Dakota landmarks, including Mount Rushmore, Pactola, and Sheridan Lakes, plus the B-21 Raider Edition. Your choice for just $39.99. Or check out the brand new Jefferson Bourbon custom etched bottle celebrating America's 250th birthday. Also, save $11 off a $7.50 bottle of Crown Royal Chocolate, now only $19.99. Mr. Liquor, off Catron next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 30. Winds out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 60. Tomorrow, mainly sunny. Lows around 46. Tomorrow night, mainly cloudy skies. Much warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs from the upper 70s to the low 80s. Showers both days. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 44.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation, free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, we are out of the gate on a Thursday, Masters Week. And I have been told you have to go to the Masters and experience it once. I know I'm going against the grain. It's not on my list. It is not on my list. I'm asking you, sporting events that could be worse to watch in person than on TV. PGA Tour golf is one of those for me. I've been to the PGA Championship twice. And it's tough to watch. Tough to get a good view. You don't know if you should walk around, stay at a hole. I'm out on spending thousands on the Masters. I'm out. What are your worst sporting events to watch in person? You'd rather watch them on TV. Question of the day. John Bryce is on tonight. Welcome him back. college football, usatoday.com. He's on X at John D. Bryce 1. John, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. I think this is not the first time, but I remain incredibly disappointed about your very terrible Masters take. You are known for a bunch of really, really good takes. Your Masters take could not be more off base.
Well, come on now.
You and I get to do a lot of cool stuff with our respective careers, and then I'm also a massive Braves fan, as your loyal audience knows. But there's nothing where I say, please just take my money the way that I do for the Masters.
Wow.
The first time I ever got to go was maybe in the 75th year of it, which was 15 years ago. It's the hands-down best sporting event I've ever done.
Wow.
It's remarkable. So I love it.
So, you're
it's
at the other end.
unbelievable.
You're at the other end of the spectrum. Now, here's what I'm telling you, John. I've covered the PGA Championship, and I thought it was fine, but I'm like, there's huge numbers of people. I can't see where the ball goes. I don't know who I should follow around. I sit at a hole, and then you sit there and wait for guys. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, the Masters, I've done it. I've been blessed to go every single day of the week except for a Sunday. I've not gotten to see a Sunday round, but in 6 different trips, I've made it through 6 different days of the week. I've been multiple times on some of the other days. Wednesday is absolutely phenomenal with the par 3 contest. Jack Nicklaus high-fived my wife in 2014 after he hit a hole-in-one for the first time ever.
Whoa!
At Augusta. It's just phenomenal. TV will never do it justice.
All right.
TV can do justice to a baseball park, a football stadium. TV will never do Augusta justice because of the elevation change, the undulation of the greens, the just the rigors of walking the course. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
All right, strong take from John Bryce tonight. Let's get into the college football landscape. I want your read on the NCAA exploring this next week. I don't know if they're going to get far with it, but it's going pretty high level. 5 years of eligibility. It's a hard cutoff. There's some exceptions, but not very many. 5 years for college athletes from high school graduation or 19 years old. Is that common sense, or is that too restrictive?
No, I think it's there's common sense needed in college athletics more than ever, and we've missed a bunch of common sense through the years when transfers were too restrictive. We're missing common sense now when it's absolute turnstile transferring. But you know, you and I visited back in January after I left the AFCA convention, and the big push from the Division I coaches meeting was basically a de facto 5 for 5, where they were going to push to allow the redshirt year, if you'll remember, to still have a player competing in up to 9 games in a football season and still being able to redshirt. And so this is obviously just basically an extension of that. I think it makes a lot of sense. The coaches are on board. The coaches in January wanted the chance to add guys a ninth to play 9 games in a football season and still be able to redshirt, which is essentially, I mean, that's 75% of a standard regular season, and you would maintain a year of eligibility. So this is just window dressing and a slight enhancement onto that.
Okay, so I just saw some college football guys. They were debating, the debate, John, is college sports in general and college football in a great place? Is it in the best place right now? Because college basketball ratings were really, really high from Monday night's game, and people are saying, hey, college sports, everybody complains about it, but it's actually in a great spot right now. Which side of that do you land on covering the game?
I do not think that it's in the greatest spot possible. I think that a number of factors made TV viewing outstanding for Monday night's championship game, and let's not lose sight of the fact that UConn and Memphis have large alumni bases. UConn and Michigan. UConn certainly in the greater New York area has a large media presence. Michigan has one of the largest alumni bases in the country. It's always a great draw. I think that college sports are in a great place for college athletes to make more money than ever before. That's continuing to go up. When I'm being told today that the guys in the basketball transfer portal are getting $4 million to switch schools from maybe one Elite Eight school to a national championship type school. Let's say that. But it's not in a great spot because I also talked to an athletic administrator yesterday who told me, quote, "There's a reckoning coming. Enough people aren't talking about it. Some incredibly hard decisions are about to have to be made." Well, those hard decisions are for the non-revenue sports that have changed so many lives through the decades, that are still really fun to follow, that still are so meaningful to so many different people. So, no, I don't think college sports is in a great spot, but the dominant college sports have never commanded more revenue or eyeballs.
John Bryce is on College Football, USAtoday.com. Great to have him. Couple more, I'll let him run. Speaking of money, I saw this out of Wisconsin today. The governor signed a new NIL bill, they call it, from the state government. $14.5 million a year going to go to the University of Wisconsin athletic department. They're going to service debt with that, but that means it'll open up resources for NIL. That's why they say it's an NIL bill. So it's state of Wisconsin money to the athletic department in this fashion. What do you think of that?
It's not, it's a little different from what we're already seeing, Nate, but let's look at places that are voting: Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi. I'm probably missing some states that are voting to make student athletes' NIL earnings, revenue share earnings, tax exempt. I mean, you have states that are going to every possible avenue to create an extra layer of recruiting benefits, all in the name of college athletics and college athletes getting paid. So the news in Wisconsin just frankly is in line with what a number of other states, largely Republican states, for whatever those are just facts. Largely Republican states are making these decisions for NIL and for student athletes. And so, again, when you have I'm more stunned by the states that are saying revenue sharing and NIL monies are tax exempt than I am what Wisconsin did today.
Okay. Jay Billis covers college basketball. He said, hey, everybody's making billions. NCAA conferences, they're making billions. Coaches, and they're making millions. So he said, everybody's making all this money. But then you just touched on it, John. You're saying there's a point of reckoning. People are talking within athletics. There's going to be a time where you have to pay the piper, meaning they talk about the money made, but then the expenses of all the athletic departments that have to cover all of the other stuff. That's what I feel like is missed here when everybody said everybody's making millions. Is that accurate?
No, it's not accurate. I think that Jay Billis, at minimum, has been an extreme lightning rod in this entire debate. But it's just not accurate because you have to look at how many sports never carry a chance of breaking even, let alone turning a profit. But I bet you Jay Billis would say some of his best friends from Duke were student athletes that played on non-revenue sports that never had a chance of making money. I will point to University of Alabama financial numbers that were released earlier this year. If I'm not mistaken, Alabama football turned a profit of maybe around $44 million, and Alabama basketball might have been in the black at around $9 million. And overall, the athletics department was $60+ million in the red, so it had like a $23 million deficit even after those two sports turned tremendous profits. Like this is not opinion based. This is study the finances. You don't have to be a CPA like my wife to understand the finances. Look at the dollars coming in and the dollars going out. And the overwhelming majority of college athletics programs in general, college athletics teams and sports, do not break even, let alone turn a profit.
Okay, quick Huskers question while I have John Bryce tonight. Husker basketball goes far in the tournament. They hadn't won a game at this point. Now everybody's talking about Husker basketball. What does Matt Rule need to do there this year for Husker football? Is he in trouble if they have a bad season?
I think he is. I think that for all the monetary reasons that we've just discussed, that the fuse in most places has never been shorter. Matt Rule, by all accounts, has been given every possible resource to get Nebraska football back on track. Nebraska football is an icon program. Like, it's a program that I grew up watching. Whether I was rooting for them, I watched them. And he's got to step up. He has to have Nebraska in the playoff conversation in November. He needs to have Nebraska playoff ranked at some point when those rankings come out. Like, you can't have Nebraska an irrelevant afterthought by October 17th, which is around October 17th is one of the biggest weekends of the college football season. You can't have Nebraska an afterthought by that point and contend that Matt Rule is doing what he needs to do for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Wow. Nebraska, big year. That'll be interesting. John Bryce with his new company, USAtoday.com, national college football writer. John, I appreciate you. Thanks, man.
I appreciate it, Nate. I can't wait to go to the Masters with you.
All right. I'll try. I'll go with John. Now, that sounds like a good time. I will go with John Bryce if I can. John Bryce saying the Masters is one of the all-time best events to go to. One of the all-time best. He puts it up there. I'm not sold on it yet. We're talking about a big commitment, guys. We're talking about big bucks here. So I'm not sold on it as one of my top sporting events that I have to go watch in person. As a matter of fact, I don't think it would be a great event to watch in person. And that's what I've been asking you. Worst events to watch in person when it comes to sports, our question of the day. Have you answered it on the text line, 605-720-1067? Send in your answers tonight. We'll set you up. Free buffet to the Pizza Ranch, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, or in Brandon. I got a free buffet for one listener tonight who answers the question of the day. Worst sporting events you think to watch in person? You'd rather watch them on TV. Listener text came in. Nate, I went to an NFL game, Kansas City Chiefs against Jake Plummer. Oh, going all the way back. Chiefs against Plummer. It was one of the worst live experiences I've ever been to. However, I went to a Husker game, one of the best experiences I've been to. All right. So he went NFL, bad, Huskers, good. I have not been to a terrible football experience. I've been to a ton of college football games, big-time ones, big venues, Ohio State, Georgia, places like that. Really, really good. Really good. NFL experiences, really good for me. I have not had a bad experience on the football side. You tell me. Mike McFeely joins us next. There was news out of North Dakota State, not what you expected. We'll start there with Mike McFeely on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people, from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio across the state. We're on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Also here, Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're a part of the program. Thursday edition. John Bryce joined us moments ago, national college football writer, USA Today. Good stuff from John, as always. We're going to get into the story with the NFL being investigated by the Department of Justice. Come on now. Oh, come on. John Mamola is our guest to discuss it. He covers the sports media landscape. He's a columnist for Barrett Sports Media, live from Florida. John Mamola on the show for the first time on the way. Mike McFeely, a regular. Is he a regular? Mike McFeely, columnist, Inforum.com. He may not want to be a regular, but he's in tonight. Mike, how are you?
Well, if I'm going to be a regular, I'm going to need some lettuce coming my way, so you don't want me to be a regular. How about that?
Okay, some lettuce. Hey, you're just like these college players. You're like these college players. You want the money. Okay, I want to start with that. By the way, NDSU, this is kind of a story. It's like, oh, is anybody following this? NDSU women basketball just had a great season. They couldn't get through the Jacks, but they had a great season. And then they get the Summit League Player of the Year to come back. 9 other players to come back. How do you see this in this current state of everybody leaves usually?
Well, I think you're talking about women's sports, which is different than men's sports. The one young woman who did leave NDSU, Molly Lenz, actually left to go to graduate school. It's not for basketball. She's not in the portal. It's not for basketball reasons. She left to go further her education, which usually doesn't happen on the men's side either. But I think I was thinking about this yesterday when the story came out that people want to go back to the way things were, if you will, right? We've heard that a lot from, whether it's President Trump and his commission or, some of these people in college sports just want to return things to the way they were. Well, they're never going to do that. The toothpaste is out of the tube. But if you're looking for something that still kind of resembles the old days a little bit, mid-major women's basketball in the Summit League is pretty good, right? I mean, South Dakota State and Aaron Johnston has done a really great job of keeping his players in Brookings. I know they lost, I think, a couple last year who were pretty good players, but for the most part, I mean, Brooklyn Meyer was there for all 4 of her years. Now Avery Coonan is going to be at North Dakota State for all 4 of her seasons. And so when you're returning, 8, 9 players, and you're not losing into the portal, or only 1 or 2 to the portal, that's kind of like the old days. And so maybe people need to follow women's basketball more closely. Not that people aren't, because the women's Final Four and the tournament has done great in terms of TV ratings, and things are different at that level. There's a bunch of transfers, by the way, in the high levels of women's college basketball. But hey, South Dakota State has been great for a long time at the mid-major level, and North Dakota State showed some signs this last year of being really good, and all of these players are pretty much staying, so maybe that's where people have to go if they want the old days back.
How about this, Mike? I was told, this is what I was told, okay, that a good player in the Summit League, women's player, because some people think, well, is there money in women's basketball? Are they even paying players? I was told a good player in the Summit League commanded over $80,000 women's basketball. What do you think of that?
Yes. I've heard similar stories.
Okay,
yes.
So
it's not innocent like the old days. Not that getting paid now is not innocent. It's just the way business is done. But yes, I've heard similar stories about some of the top players in the Summit League on the women's side getting some money, and that's okay, right? If they would rather be where they are and they get $75,000 or $100,000, that's fine. That's okay.
Okay, do you think it's one of those things there, if NDSU brings back, 9, 10 players, they got something special? It's like, well, somebody must have passed on something, I would think.
Yeah, Avery was on Dom Izzo's show this morning, and he asked her that question, whether there was other schools coming at her, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Yep, and she said she didn't get anything directly, but there was certainly some buzz around her, is kind of the way she phrased it. So I'm sure there was some interest from somebody, but Avery made it sound like she wasn't contacted directly or got any numbers from anybody. And so, maybe it's a little bit different on the women's side in that regard as well. Because if you're talking about the football side of things and the men's basketball side of things,
yes.
Whether it's in the Missouri Valley Football Conference for football or the men's basketball in the Summit League, there are direct contacts there. That I can tell you. That you started to hear in Fargo here that a guy like Trayson Anderson on the men's side, was starting to hear from people fairly early in the season after he started to average about 20 points a game in the first handful of Summit League games. And so I think those discussions are happening directly, or at least the contact is happening directly. This is going to sound odd, but frankly, women are just smarter than men, okay? And so I just think they're just more level-headed, and I don't mean to paint everything with a broad brush here, but men's college basketball, there's so many players, whether it's realistic or not, who absolutely believe that they can get to the NBA, right? I mean, if they can just get to the higher level, they're going to be seen. Yes, the money is great. There's no doubt about it, and I don't have a problem with some kid getting paid $900,000 to go to Boise State or wherever these guys are going. But there's always that thing in the back of their head where if I could just get out there and be seen on a bigger stage, I'm going to be in the association. I don't think that that's a thing in women's sports, at least at this level. I don't know Avery Coonan. I've asked her a few questions here and there, but I mean, is she thinking about going to the WNBA or going overseas to play basketball? I don't know. I think she's about a 4.0 student, so there might be some other things going on that she's looking forward to. But I think that plays a part in some of this as well, Nate, that they're just some of these kids just believe that if they can get to a higher level, that by God, they're going to be the next Jalen Brunson or whomever. And I don't think that pervades women's sports quite yet.
By the way, 49% of eligible D1 players are in the transfer portal today. 49%. That's the estimate from Jeff Goodman. I mean, you got half players are going, I'm going to test this out and see if I can do something, maybe get some money. Mike McFeely's on.
And what I'll always say is, and I know you didn't mean it, but if a kid is going in the portal to quote-unquote test things out,
yes,
he shouldn't go in the portal. Because
that's what they're doing.
I mean, I know, and they're doing the same thing in Division II, because I've talked to Division II coaches in both football and basketball, and frankly, agents are kind of the scourge of all things college sports right now, because agents are getting into the ears of Division II kids and FCS and Summit League type guys and saying, just go in the portal, we'll find a place for you, you'll make some money, and oftentimes they do not. So I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on your program. Probably have, because I repeat myself repeatedly. But if you're a college athlete and somebody is not pursuing you, then don't go in the portal. Because a lot of the stuff, it's all set up ahead of time. Not all of it. And some kids surely are out there testing the market. But even those kids are getting interest from somebody. You know, I mean, they're not going in blind. They might be out there, fishing around a little bit, but unless you're getting contact or you're getting interest or you're getting offers, I wouldn't go in the portal if I was a kid in 2026.
Okay, let me ask you about this NCAA proposal next week. 5 years of eligibility, kind of a hardline cutoff. There's a few exceptions, religious, mission, stuff like that are exceptions, but it would be harder line than we've seen. 5 years from high school graduation, that's it. Would that get a Mike McFeely endorsement?
You know, I think so. I mean, to me, that's reasonable, right? I mean, you can sit out a year if you want, but that year gets burned. You can play all 5 years if you want. That's fine, whatever. But I think that would at least, I shouldn't say this because I'll jinx it, but it might sort of at least get things between the guardrails a little bit. I mean, all these guys going to court now and looking for a seventh year of eligibility, and we're going to reach a point. We're going to reach a point that they're just going to say, well, why are there limits on eligibility at all? I mean, if you're enrolled in school, why can't you play college sports? And I don't think that's healthy. And so I guess that would be fine with 5 years. I mean, if they can, fend off all the lawsuits and fend off the lawyers, the agents.
It's coming.
I guess it would be. Yeah, and I think it would be okay. I think that would be fine. That would be at least a start, because I'm not against kids and young men. I shouldn't say kids, young men and women playing college sports for more than 4 years. That's fine. I'm not opposed to them getting paid, but I think at some point we have to kind of return to some rules. And right now, it just feels like every day you wake up and there are no rules. I mean, when you've got guys in 7 years playing college sports and guys getting paid. The one Ohio State kid said he was offered $10 million.
$10 million,
to leave Ohio State.
Yeah.
Which again, capitalism's great, but is that sustainable? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it.
Mike McFeely joining us tonight. He is not in the transfer portal yet out of this program. He's still on Inforum.com. His work is there. Great work, Mike. Always appreciate it. Thanks.
You bet, Nate. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Mike McFeely joining the Nate Brown Show tonight from Fargo, columnist for Inforum.com. NDSU women's basketball getting 10 players back. 10 players back like that. That's an odd story. Normally it's how many players are leaving. NDSU getting the Summit League Player of the Year back in women's basketball, and then 9 teammates. So SDSU's, I've said this over the years, they've been pretty good with all of that. Football, not a ton of guys have left. Basketball has just started to get a little rough, but women's basketball's been solid. So SDSU's been pretty good with not losing players. But I wonder if it's just going to trickle down. Men's basketball now, it's been kind of tough. But NDSU on the women's basketball side getting some players back. But on the men's side, they lost a ton. NDSU just won the Summit League. On the men's side, they just lost all of their players. I mean, it's just wild. John Mamola's in next. Let's get to him. Barrett Sports Media columnist and sports editor. The NFL is getting investigated by the Department of Justice. Is this right? Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans, all as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 30. Winds out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 60. Tomorrow, mainly sunny. Lows around 46. Tomorrow night, mainly cloudy skies. Much warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs from the upper 70s to the low 80s. Showers both days. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid.
RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at DakotaDiscountRV.com.
Get ready to swing into spring at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort with grand prize drawings that will win you a different kind of green. We've teamed up with Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club to bring you grand prize drawings every Friday and Saturday night in April. We'll draw for free rounds of golf, and one lucky winner each night will win a couple's membership. Swing into spring and take your game to the next level. Exclusively at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort in Deadwood.
Calling all basketball teams, it's time to box out the competition. The Box Out Basketball Tournament's taking over the Box Elder Event Center May 29th through 31st. The tournament's open to 5th through 10th grade boys and girls with limited team spots available. Friday and Saturday feature pool play, leading to Sunday's bracket play for the win. Fast-paced games, big plays, unforgettable moments at the best facility. Register now at thebox.live.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show across the state of South Dakota. Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Thanks for making the show possible, everybody. We appreciate you. It is a Thursday happy hour upon us. Hang on. Rob Kegron's live in studio this next hour. A full hour with Rob on a Masters Thursday. He's the Masters man. We're going to talk Masters and more. Rob Kegron's coming in. National radio host and guest host on the Nate Brown Show on a Thursday happy hour straight ahead. We want to get him on. He does a great job. When you're a guy like me, you look at the sports media landscape. These guys do a great job. Barrett Sports Media. If you want to stay plugged in on what's happening in sports media, these guys do a great job. He's the sports editor, a columnist for BarrettSportsMedia.com. John Mamola on the program. John, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Evening, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you hopping in. So I thought this story was interesting. I'm like, let's dig into this with John and see where we're at. U.S. Department of Justice launching an inquiry into the NFL over potential antitrust concerns. So, like, for listeners wondering, they're like, hey, what's this mean? Well, the report's saying, did the NFL, with their media rights, did they do this right? They took it out to streamers. They're looking for the money here. Should this all be and stay on the CBSs and Foxes of the world? That's the moral of the story, essentially. What did you think when you saw this come out, the DOJ looking at the NFL media rights?
Well, I mean, this has been something that's been kind of expected, especially with the success of the NFL as of late. Because, if you look at the top 100 most viewed programs of last year, like 83 to 85 of those are NFL products. I mean, it's play-by-play. So I wasn't really shocked about this. We've been kind of hearing more scuttlebutt. The FCC chair, Brendan Carr, came out last month and kind of, hinted that there might be, some allegations of potential things that the NFL are doing to kind of go against the law that was written back in 1961. Now, keep in mind, 1961 was a long time ago, Nate. I mean, I don't know how you all are. I wasn't even a glimmer in my dad's eye, But, I mean, times have changed. Things have evolved. This was eventually going to happen, whether it be the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA. But Congress just wants to make sure. And, look, they're doing their due diligence. They're not necessarily saying you are doing this. They just want to have an investigation to kind of see if what they're currently doing in the NFL is potentially affecting the consumer, you and me, to where maybe they are kind of allowing these streamers to take advantage where the cost does come back on us a little bit higher.
Okay, so essentially this is kind of looking at it like, should fans be able to watch the NFL with their exemptions that they get, the NFL, on free broadcast TV? And the NFL has answered 87% of our games are free broadcast TV. Now, this is a league that's pretty good with that. And I know they went to Netflix, they went to Prime, but there's other leagues that are going to get looked into if the NFL is, no?
This is kind of the first straw, right? Let's see what, Congress says, the Department of Justice, about, what the NFL is doing. And look, if you're going to, choose a first target, you want to take the top dog. Right now, the NFL is the top dog. Now, the NBA, they started their 11-year deal, which is worth $77 billion last year, or actually this current season. So, but they also have games on Amazon Prime, Peacock. You can look at the ESPN agreements that they have. Some games are on certain streamers that, typical fans like you and me, we can't watch on over-the-air TV. Major League Baseball, opening night was on Netflix. You couldn't get Yankees-Giants on regular television, right? NBC, they just lumped back in with Major League Baseball, too. They're also doing Sunday Night Baseball exclusive games just on their Peacock platform. So every league is kind of diving into this. The NHL is the exact same thing with ESPN+. It's just that it just seems like there's a lot of potential political implications behind this. I mean, let's face it. The NFL is a business that's looking to compete with Google and Apple. They don't want to compete with the NBA, Major League Baseball, and NHL hockey right now. They want to set themselves apart as a global. I mean, this is why we're doing international games. They want to be a global sports league for a global audience. And what plays better to global audiences than companies like Google and Apple? So, and Roger Goodell has been very upfront about that. The problem is that the first sign that Goodell wanted is he reached out and said publicly he's open to renegotiating all of his media deals. He has media deals with Fox, ESPN, Prime Video, also with Netflix as well as CBS. Now, long story short, CBS got new ownership. It's run by the Ellison family now. CBS News is now being run by the Ellisons. That's why you're seeing a lot of changes, especially with CBS News Radio, as well as the 60 Minutes program, which has made national headlines, right? The Ellisons are in good favor with the president right now. He's in good favor with that administration. They're on the verge of taking over Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns CNN, which also owns TNT Sports. Again, these are things that need government approval to be actually instituted. It's looking like it's going to happen. The first network that talked to the NFL reportedly was CBS, which is now owned by the Ellison. The NFL wants basically a 50% raise on their media rights. That's what they're reportedly asking for. They're looking for $3 billion a season from CBS Sports. Now, the Ellisons have just invested in UFC. That's why you have this big UFC. I mean, every UFC event now is on Paramount Plus. They paid $7.7 billion for that. If you have the NFL, which is making money hand over fist, which is driving viewership left and right, but you're also a company that just made heavy investments in mergers with TNT, Warner Brothers, and also taking over CBS and shelling out a lot of money for the UFC, do you want to pay 50% on top of what you're already paying? Long story short, you're going to maybe use a little leverage to see if you can kind of bring that down a little bit. Because, look, what the NFL is doing, this is the only ground they have to stand on, by the way, Nate, is that every broadcast in a local market has a local free over-the-air television product. Like, I'm based here in Tampa. When the Bucks are playing on Monday night or Thursday night, when it's on ESPN or Prime Video, I got Channel 44. I could watch it here in a local market. That is and that's what the NFL is leaning on right now, because the argument is that the NFL is making potentially some unlawful deals where people are not able to have that free and over-the-air television like they have since 1961. But at the same time, they also don't want to have the NFL go to Google, which runs YouTube, and say, hey, YouTube, here's this giant CBS package that you could easily afford because CBS is bleeding money as a network right now.
That's interesting.
That's really the crux of it here, Nate. There's a lot of kind of behind-the-scenes kind of maneuvering, positioning here, but in the end, who's going to lose out of all of this? It's you and me.
Yeah.
It's the consumer, right?
FCC requested public feedback on how the NFL's media rights and strategies have affected consumers. That happened. U.S. Department of Justice now launching an inquiry into the NFL and how they've done their business practices. And last one, John Momola on. He's with BarrettSportsMedia.com covering this and everything in sports media. Do you think that NFL games should be on broadcast TV? That's really the crux. It's like, with everything that they've got, everybody's looking for money. Should NFL games be on free broadcast TV?
I mean, if you look at all of the major four between Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, and NHL, the NFL is really the only league that prioritizes free over-the-air television, because baseball has their RSN mess. You got to have cable to get that. Not every cable and satellite provider works with Major League Baseball. Therefore, the consumer may have to pay their cable bill, but they also may have to pay $20 a month to watch their baseball team. The NBA is the same thing. Look, you want to watch, like if you watch the New York Knicks for whatever reason, you got Prime, you got Peacock, you got ESPN, you got obviously MSG up in New York. There's different things that you have to buy. If you're an NFL fan that lives in a local market and that's your team, you will always have access to watch your local team, whether it's preseason, regular season, and every postseason game is on some sort of free over-the-air television. Now, look, I'm a Bears fan. I'm from Chicago originally. I had to go to Prime to watch the Bears and Packers. But if I was working in Chicago, living in Chicago, I could still watch them over a free over-the-air product. That's what the NFL is kind of leaning on when it comes to this investigation. We'll just kind of see how this plays out.
John Momola, good insight. We'll do it again. I think this will be interesting. BarrettSportsMedia.com sports editor. He's on X at John Momola, and he's on the Nate Brown Show here in South Dakota tonight. John, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. John Momola, columnist, sports editor for BarrettSportsMedia.com. NFL, DOJ. I mean, come on, guys. Come on now. Should the government require sports leagues to have their games on free broadcast TV? That's kind of what everybody's kind of leaning towards. Like, hey, you get antitrust exemption. You negotiated this back in 1961 with the Sports Broadcasting Act. You can't be putting all this stuff on streaming now. That's the big moral of the story. Let's get into this. I'll talk to Rob Cagron about it. And I'm going to talk to Rob about the Masters. Masters is underway. Rob Kegron is in. It's a Thursday happy hour starting next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
And East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
One more time. This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
One more time.
All right, we're back, and we are here on the Nate Brown Show. It's South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live on Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in a Thursday happy hour on a Masters Thursday with Rob Kegron. He is live in studio. I mean, I'm surprised you came today. I thought you'd be watching the Masters just every single second. You haven't pulled up on your phone. I mean, we're doing a radio show here. I mean, let's get dialed in. Are you that into the Masters right here, right now? If you don't know Rob Kegron, he's the golf extraordinaire. He thinks he can beat one of these guys on a hole. These guys that are playing today. He thinks he can beat them on a hole. That's not happening. So you're dialed in today. How do you feel?
I love it. Masters, the first day of the Masters. Here's the reason I'm here. Not besides the fact that I'm loyal to the show. This is one of the great things. We've talked about this way in the past, but being in the Mountain Time Zone is a great sports watching time zone.
Yes, the best.
I think it's better than Pacific. I agree with you. I do think it is absolutely the best sports watching time zone. So if you were doing a remote on the East Coast, a remote like on a live location somewhere on the East Coast for whatever reason, and I was out there, this would be a much tougher sell for me because at 5 o'clock on the East, there's still 2+ hours of the golf coverage there. But there's only a couple holes left. I mean, Scotty Scheffler just tapped in from par on the 18th hole. There might be 1 or 2 groups still out there. I can handle missing 1 or 2 groups.
So you're okay. You watch NFL. You watch all the games. You have your setup. You've talked about that. Are you into an NFL Sunday or are you into a Masters week? What are you into more?
Well, that's tough because the Masters is only, that's what you get paid for, right? To ask me the tough questions. Is that what you were about to say?
I want to know. I'd like to know because this is interesting for me tonight.
Are we talking about just a random NFL Sunday versus the Masters week?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the Giants versus the Cowboys.
I'm
so
more into the Masters.
Giants, Cowboys, and then some other good games.
I'm more into the Masters.
What?
Now, if you tell me NFL playoff weekend, super wild card weekend, divisional playoff weekend, even conference championships, even though it's only 2 games, I'd say that, yes, in a heartbeat more than the Masters. But, week 6 in the NFL?
Yes.
No, I'm into the Masters more.
Goodness.
I turned the TV on this morning, Nate, at 5:30 in the morning, right? I was up at like 10 after 5. I made myself a coffee. I turned the big screen on, and I get my iPad, and I cast it up to the TV, and I get all the different, they start with the honorary guy, the old guys hitting the first tee shot, Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, and Gary Player. I'm watching that. I'm watching the early coverage. I'm watching Amen Corner when it gets to it. I've had the TV on with the Masters from 5:30 in the morning until I left my house to come here, which was like 4:45 I leave to come here.
Oh, and he walked in here today with a hop in his step, too. I mean, you're feeling good. You're looking good. It's the Masters. I mean, I got to tell you, I got to break some news here for you. I hate to tell you if you missed the first hour of the show. I started ranking my sporting events that would be worse to watch in person than on TV, and the Masters is up there. I'm not going to go to it. People keep telling me I got to go to it. It's on my list of one of the worst events to watch in person. And you kind of nodded to me. I mean,
well, I would say golf events in general, and I've been to many of them, although I have not been to the Masters. I've not been to Augusta National at any point in my life. And
I can't believe that. You got to go. I mean, people keep you're watching it from 5:30 in the morning. You got to get there.
It's a tough ticket to get. I put in for the lottery. My brother and I both put in for the lottery every single year. We've never been selected. We hope that one day we will. If we don't get, my thought is if I don't get selected by the time I'm 60 or so, which isn't that far away, unfortunately, I'll just cough up whatever the thousands of dollars it is to go with my brother and I. But it's not that I don't want to go. I absolutely do. I was nodding to you because I'd say golf events in general are not the best sporting events to watch in person.
No.
Now, I will give you and there is an exception to that. I think if you're a big-time sports fan, I think there are certain things that you should have on your bucket list. And the Masters, even if it's just for one day, I wouldn't go watch a final round Sunday. And I know there are people who would completely disagree, big-time golf fans who would completely disagree. I've been to the U.S. Open in golf twice when it was in New York on Long Island, Bethpage Black. And both times I was there on Sunday, and both times I regretted it. Right?
You did.
There was excitement, and it did come down to the last hole, so it was exciting in that way. But you have 2 options when you watch golf. You can stay at a hole and see everybody come through that hole, or you could follow a group and miss everybody else who's playing golf. Either way, it's a downer. You're missing a lot of the action. The exception I'm telling you is the Masters is different than all of the other golf majors for a simple reason. It's played at the same golf course every single year. I think even you, who poo-poo and knock golf, and you, as soon as I, wait, one sec. As soon as I walked in this studio, you had nothing better than a big grin on your face, ready to knock the Masters and how you weren't going to watch it all weekend.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm not going to watch it all weekend. I'm going to watch some of it this weekend. That's different. I'm not going to watch it like you all weekend. I can't. I mean, I just can't go there. I like golf. As a matter of fact, once I get more time, I'll meet you on the course sometime. We'll play a little golf, and then you'll see.
You don't want to do that.
You'll see.
We got to bring Kearney for that. He's going to give the report on the Monday show after that happens.
I'm just telling you, I went to the PGA Championship twice. So it's kind of like you. You went to the U.S. Open. I went PGA Championship, Whistling Straits. I thought it was good. I thought it was a unique experience. I couldn't quite see where the guy's hitting it. I was 6 deep on the gallery. It was a grinder kind of getting around, and then I got strep throat at the end of it. I mean, it's just a mess.
And I get that. My only point about Augusta is even you. I was giving a compliment. Even you, you don't love golf by any means. You like it, but it's not like you're watching week in and week out. Even you, Nate, you're a really good sports fan. You can describe most of the holes at Augusta, at the very least on the back nine. I think, right?
Yes.
We could run through them and you would know them. I think the fact that we've grown up watching that same tournament on the second Sunday of April every single year, knowing those holes. I think going to it once, first of all, I know plenty of people who have gone to it. One who's been on your show before, Mad Dog, Chris Russo, one of my closest friends. He went 2 years ago, and the first thing he told me when he got out, because you can't have a cell phone on the grounds of the Masters, when he called me that night, he's like, you can't imagine. TV does not do it justice. How hilly it is, how challenging it is.
Yes.
It's like you have to come see it with your own 2 eyes.
Pristine.
Because you've been watching it your whole life. It will literally bring it to a new you'll have a new appreciation for it, but it'll just bring it to a new vibrancy and a new life. So I think he'd go once, but I agree. It wouldn't be it would be at the top for me because of my love for the Masters and love for golf, but I wouldn't want to do it every year.
But you would put it in a category of the Kentucky Derby, as a sports fan, like things you got to go watch. Derby, Indy 500, Masters, stuff like that.
You're probably only going to do it once, right? I think the Derby might be where you do it a couple of times because of the fanfare around it. But I've been to plenty of horse races, including the Breeders' Cup a number of times. The one good thing about watching horse racing on television is you know exactly what's happening.
Yes,
right.
Yes. You can't see when you're there. When they're on the far side, you don't have a clue.
On the backstretch, there's a reason why people have binoculars, right? Like they have no other way. It's that far away. It's like a half a mile or a mile away. Same thing with like Indy 500 kind of thing, right? And that's even worse, right? Because at least the horses are fast, but you can see them as they're going by. The cars are flying by you. I know Kearney's probably getting really upset at me right now as I'm saying these things.
He's been to the Indy 500. He wants to go again.
But that's you do it once for the experience. I don't know that you'd want to do it year in and year out.
So the Masters for you, you're juiced. I like it. I'm following it. I hope Rory stays in it and Scotty Scheffler, if he, has some passion to stay in it the rest of the week. But I want to watch this and see some big names. Where does it rank up there as far as just watching? You said it beats out an NFL Sunday, but it doesn't beat like a wild card. So it doesn't beat Super Bowl. It doesn't like National Championship Final Four. It beats that. It beats that.
That's a tricky one. I am probably, I watched every second of both the Final Four games and the National Championship game, so I can't say that it outranks that. I think it's pretty close, though, the same level. I'd put the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl, obviously. I'd put Baseball League Championship Series and World Series ahead of it. I don't know that I would put...
I can't do that.
I certainly wouldn't put... You wouldn't put that ahead of the Masters?
I guess for me, they're both kind of like...
Oh, yeah, because you don't like baseball.
Top
but
5.
Like NBA playoffs, I don't care about until the conference finals. So the Masters is way more important than that. And in fact, I'm more into the Masters than I probably would be in NBA finals. So the Masters is really close to the top for me. There are only a handful of events that I would, if you said I have to pick one or the other, I would pick the other. Only a handful.
My top 4 sporting events that are worse to watch in person than on TV, I went golf, and so I'll say the Masters. In person, I don't think it'd be great. I went Final Four in the football stadium. I'm not talking front row seat. I'm talking just general admission. I don't want to watch Final Four in person. NASCAR, I put NASCAR in there. And then, by the way, who goes to the Tour de France? You went to it, right?
I have been to it. I went to the final stage.
Are you telling me that's fun? You're watching guys flying by? You're in a French village? What fun is that?
Well, here's what I'd say. The way I watched it in Paris on the Champs-Élysées, and you are right. They're going way too fast to really appreciate it. But there's a huge following of going to the Tour de France and going up on one of these mountains, right, and watching them come up the mountain. They're not going so fast there, and you do get it.
You like that?
Oh my God! That is on my bucket list to go up to like the Alpe d'Huez, and nobody knows, of course, what I'm talking about. And this is where I should be a better radio host. Like, what did that guy just say? The Alpe d'Huez. It's in the Alps, right? It's in the French Alps, and they go up mountains like this, or the Col du Tourmalet, and they go, and it's straight up a mountain. And if you've at least seen the highlights where the people are going wild and making noise and cheering on these bicycle racers,
wrecking them, and
sometimes wrecking them. I absolutely want to do that. That is on my bucket list.
Wow.
The Champs-Élysées on a sprint, you don't appreciate it. On a mountain stage, summit finish, I absolutely want to do it.
Tour de France has to be terrible. It has to be. I think that's on my top of my list. I'm not going to go watch the guys riding the bikes by me and then watching the goofy guys like you going, eh! I don't need it. I don't want it. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, by the way, there's some college sports to talk about, including the state of Wisconsin doing something that I think many people will find interesting when it comes to NIL and college athletics with this role in South Dakota. That's coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Spring is here and Splash City is blooming with savings. It's their spring kickoff sale. Your backyard retreat is calling. Imagine relaxing, soaking away the day in a brand new Sundance or jacuzzi spa from Splash City. During the spring kickoff sale, get 0% financing for 72 months or save up to $5,000 in instant rebates. Why Splash City? Highest quality brands, largest dealer in spas and hot tubs in the region, and you get huge savings every time. Don't wait. Visit Splash City in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, or Sioux City today.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterpark.com.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. On today's online-only auction, we are selling surplus shop tools, construction and support equipment, some home stake-related items like new power tools. We've got shop benches, there's chain boomers, straps, office desks, tables, chairs. Final auction preview this afternoon from 3 to 5. The items are located at 1130 East St. James, the former Black Hills Milk Plant building just south of the fairgrounds in Rapid City, South Dakota. For more details and to bid and buy on this auction, closing 6 p.m. today, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 30. Winds out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 60. Tomorrow, mainly sunny. Lows around 46. Tomorrow night, mainly cloudy skies. Much warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs from the upper 70s to the low 80s. Showers both days. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 46.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live on a Thursday. Hope you've had a great day. Thanks for checking in with us. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Rob Kegron live in studio. It's a Thursday happy hour across the state. KWSN Sioux Falls, welcome in on Fox Sports Rapid City. Well, we found a couple of people that would go to the French Alps and watch the Tour de France, the hill climbing stage. What is that? I mean, what's fun about that?
The
what is fun
excitement
about
of
that?
First of all, it's an incredible athletic feat to climb these giant mountains on bicycles.
Ask Lance Armstrong. I mean, it's amazing.
That was then when they were all on dope, and they're not doing that anymore.
Well, they aren't.
No.
Oh.
They get tested way more than they've ever been tested. They're
That's
clean.
what Lance said. But nonetheless, French Alps, all that stuff. I want to go there. I'm going to go on the Viking cruise. I'm going to do all that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and watch guys riding their bikes and me trying to, throw cheese at them and stuff.
You don't have to throw cheese at them. You got to make noise and get them, give them a little bit of
and then
motivation.
they go by.
Pump. Yeah.
It's a minute. It's a minute, and they're gone.
But there's 100 and what? Usually the race starts with like 160 or so. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys who are going to come up that hill. And it's not just that you're going to have the leading pack, which is going to be probably like 15, 20. Right up at the top there in the peloton, as we would say.
It is amazing. Do you have a Peloton? Maybe you should get a Peloton and get in gear and ready to go for that.
I should get one.
I would actually watch you do that, but more than the Tour de France. But that might be okay. By the way, tell Rob I'll tag along with him to do the French Alps as a listener tag.
Love it. We get a bunch of listeners to go and have this great experience, and then we'll call into the show right afterwards.
Okay, have fun with that. We got cut off. Let's get into this story out of the NFL today. This is interesting to me. I don't think it's going to do much, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just out to lunch. Wall Street Journal reporting NFL has an inquiry now from the U.S. Department of Justice. So without getting into all the legalese and all the stuff, this is about the league partnering with streaming platforms. This is about Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, the league doing games and getting big money from these and putting them on those streamers, and the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, which allowed the leagues to do the television rights, negotiate national deals to have their games on network TV. And so now the DOJ is saying, wait, this is going to cost, what, $1,000 in some cases for consumers to watch the NFL, and you guys still have this exemption from us? That's what this is about. I don't think it's going to go anywhere because the NFL has a ton of games on CBS and Fox. I don't know where this is going.
I don't think it's going anywhere, Nate. I think it's them just trying to flex a bit the government. I think it may. Again, I get you and I have preached about this week in and week out. We are tired of the proliferation of streamers and how many different services you need to watch the sports that we want to watch. I'm tired of it. But I don't think again, if we didn't want to watch, we wouldn't pay for it, right? We decide to pay for it. I don't think that they, first of all, you're right. There's still plenty of games on network television. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. It doesn't feel like
you don't.
No, because
so what if YouTube comes in here and says we're going to pay this much because Roger Goodell said, hey, we're open for business, and CBS, which has a lot of expenses, a lot of money tied up, they're going to say we can't go 50% higher on this. We can't go $3 billion a year.
Well, I think CBS is going to go 50% higher, and they have to renegotiate here soon, and we don't need to get into the technical reasons why they have to be the one to renegotiate. But I think even the NFL, who likes to take every single dollar that's on the table, they also love their reach, right? And the reason why their shows are the most watched, like 93 of the 100 most watched television shows every single year, is because they're on broadcast television.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, when you put a playoff game on a streamer, it always does less than it would if it were on broadcast television. That's not to say they still wouldn't get great ratings. Of course they will. But they're not going to get the same, right? They want that broad reach. Now,
but they want the money. The money.
But they want both. And I don't think they're going to sacrifice the reach for X amount more. Plus, I don't think YouTube is ready to take on that kind of apparatus. Remember, right now, all their YouTube TV is doing is taking the games from the broadcast networks and essentially making them available on the Sunday Ticket. If YouTube's gonna do the games, who's gonna produce? They have to have the level of production. You and I both know this. We're in media. The level of production that goes into, and not many NFL games, one NFL game.
Right.
Now they're going to take, like, say, the AFC package on Sundays from CBS. Where are they getting? Now, the talent, I imagine, would mostly come from what is already out there on broadcast television. But you have to set up a whole system. I mean, the amount of infrastructure and investment that they would have to make, they're nowhere near ready for that.
You said the NFL should not be required to put all of their games on broadcast TV. You said that a couple of weeks ago. That was before this inquiry was made, because people were throwing this around and the FCC was looking at it. Should they be able to be required to put their games on broadcast TV?
No, but in fairness, the NFL has never been entirely on broadcast TV. And what I mean by that is the only games that are guaranteed to you are what is designated for your local market. Right? You've never been able to watch every game in the NFL. Never, even from its infancy, right? Because of the windows that they played the games in, you couldn't watch 3 of them on CBS. There were 3 CBS games, but you couldn't. If you were here in Rapid City, South Dakota, you couldn't watch all 3 at the same time. You could only watch one. The only way that changed was with DirecTV and the Sunday Ticket and having those opportunities. But you paid for that. You and I paid for it for many, many years. I still pay for it on YouTube TV. You've never been able to watch every game. You've been able to watch a few games on a weekend over broadcast TV. I think that will always happen, but the NFL has no obligation to do that.
By the way, if the NFL is getting quote-unquote investigated by, hey, are you putting stuff on streaming? All these other leagues have done it even more. I mean, the NBA's spread all over the place. MLB's now spread all over the place. The NFL's the one that's on Fox and CBS more than anybody. They just said that, by the way. 87% of their games, they say, are on free broadcast TV. Well, that means available in your market.
That's a lie, right? 87% of the games are not, right? 87% of the games are available on some broadcast
in
television.
Your market.
What can you actually watch? Think about what you can actually watch over broadcast television. Now, again, it depends on the market. We're not going to get into the minutia of this, but let's say for the sake of argument, you can watch 3 on Sunday, either 2 in the early window or 2 in the late window, and one of the others, right? Usually about 3.
That's it.
Occasionally it's 4, but usually 3, and a Sunday night game, right? That's 4. If you don't have ESPN, right, you can't watch the Monday night game. So 4 a weekend for 18 weekends a year. That's nowhere close to 87%. So they're fudging the numbers right there as well, the NFL.
Yeah, the deal is people get that NFL Sunday Ticket. I had a listener text in and say he had a buddy who's a Packers fan who decided, hey, I'm going to get Sunday Ticket because I want to watch every Packers game. He was able to watch more Packers games through other avenues than he did on the Sunday Ticket. So he watched them on streaming. He watched them they were covered nationally. National broadcast, Peacock, Prime, than he did on Sunday Ticket. That's what he said. And he paid big money for the Sunday Ticket, and he was able to watch more Packers games on other stuff.
But sometimes that's the victim of being a good team, a team that's good year in and year out. They get more national. Think about if you're a Chiefs fan, right? Like the Chiefs over the last few years, I mean, how many games, if you were a Chiefs fan here in Rapid City where it doesn't get every Chiefs game locally, how many games would you have actually needed that Sunday Ticket for? I would bet maybe not last season because they struggled towards the end, but 2 seasons ago, it might have been 3. Maybe there were 3 early window games because that's really where you need them. Because if they're in the late window, it's almost likely that they're going to be, one of the nationally televised games. Maybe 3 or 4. So I completely agree, but you're the victim of your own success then.
If you're a Vikings fan and you're a Broncos fan in South Dakota, you are in good shape.
You don't need the Sunday Ticket. You're the only reason you'd want the Sunday Ticket is to watch other games, to watch the Vikings divisional rivals who won't necessarily be on while the Vikings are on, or the Broncos.
And I'm saying, so people in South Dakota are like, hey, I'm a Vikings fan, so you're good. I'm a Broncos fan, I'm good. A lot of you guys that are like Steelers fans or maybe even Cowboys, some of these teams even more bizarre. You want to watch the Lions. Well, you're not going to see them that much.
Nope.
NFL getting investigated by the Department of Justice. I don't think it's going to do much. We'll see if this proliferation of streaming ever gets tamped down. I doubt that, too. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show with this college sports story. So the state of Wisconsin just made a big deal when it comes to college sports. What do we think about this Big Ten deal coming up?
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit rbarapidcity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in on your drive home on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in Fox Sports Rapid City, The Nate Brown Show live. If you missed parts of the show where we debated the value of the Tour de France, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show, every guest on the podcast. Great first hour tonight. Download the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We are there, the Nate Brown Show. Search for it, and you've got the podcast of this show. So I thought this was interesting today. The state of Wisconsin just signed a new bill through their assembly. They're putting this into law. They're going to give the University of Wisconsin athletic department $14.6 million every year. So they're like, well, hang on, this is just state funding of a university, right? Well, this is $14.6 million extra for athletics only, and it's to service debt so the athletic department can do what? Free up resources for student athletes. And so this means athletic compensation towards the athletes, and that's what that means is the University of Wisconsin is going to get some dollars from state government. This is kind of one of the big deals. You've seen certain states be like, hey, we're going to make this rule and that rule. I don't know how many are funneling $14.5 million every year. The Badgers are going to get money. What do you think of this?
I think it's a bit of a slippery slope. I think asking taxpayers, but in the same respect, I think this happens on a regular basis, even on the pro level. I mean, we could go down the path of how many stadiums have been funded by municipal tax dollars.
A lot.
And so the people had no say in that most of the time. They're having no say in this. I don't love it, but I think it's absolutely going to be the new wave that budgets are they're going to set aside money in budgets for these kind. Oh, absolutely. Because think about a program like Wisconsin, which at the very least was, would you say, at the top end of the Big Ten, at the very least in, I'd say both basketball and football for a long time.
Yeah.
And over the last number of years, they've struggled, right?
Yes.
They can't get that talent. And so you're going to try something, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure to do more things like this. I don't like it. I wouldn't want my tax dollars going.
You wouldn't?
No, definitely not.
Come on. When you're telling me, I mean, I know St. John's is private and all that stuff. You're telling me that you wouldn't put some tax dollars towards Rick Pitino and St. John's? Give me a break.
If it were public university,
give me a break.
I don't think that's a good idea. I don't.
You want to win?
Of course, I want to win. But you have donors and benefactors for things like that.
Well, so does Wisconsin, and it's not feeding the Bulldogs. So, state of Wisconsin said we're going to funnel the money. Now this is going to free up, dollars for athletes. By the way, Doug Gottlieb of Fox Sports Radio, he's the men's coach at University of Wisconsin Green Bay. They're going to get $200,000 to University of Wisconsin Green Bay. So he's going to get a little bump. Not quite $14.6 million. There you go, Doug.
I saw that. It's kind of a slap in the face. No, I'm like, oh, here we're going to give you a little bit.
$200K to Wisconsin Green Bay, and that's just for the athletic department as a whole. I'm going to say they say this is an economic driver. Wisconsin sports. It's a big economic driver. It is the brand. That's what they say. Is they say this is an investment.
And I get that, right? And it's the same thing they do with stadiums, right? Like, this is an investment in our local economy. It will pay itself off in many times over with what it will bring in terms of sales tax receipts and hotel tax receipts and things like that. So I get it, right? You can make that argument. But I think you go down, well, it's $14 million this year. What's it next year? Next year it's $25 million, and then it's $45 million. Now it's $100 million.
But you think other states are going to start? I mean, SEC countries going to start seeing the Big Tens. They're starting to win in everything. They're going to start funneling money too?
Yes, absolutely. Once one state does it, it's the same reason why one state attracts a professional team from that state to another, because they give them an incentive, some kind of tax break, or they just pay it off, give them the land, or pay it all off entirely.
By the way, I don't think you're going to see any bills at the South Dakota legislature propose to give money to the Jacks or the Yotes.
I completely agree. Not in this state.
And then we're going to give, we'll give $1,000 to the School of Mines.
I don't think so.
Huh?
It's not happening.
Okay, well, how mad do you guys want to win? Everybody wants to win. Wisconsin wants to win a little bit. Nebraska, are they going to do it? How about Nebraska?
I could see that.
You could see them funneling money like this?
Yep.
Look out. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, wrapping up the show. We do have a debate, which, Rob's a good food guy. He's like a chef. He's like a food guy. So we got a debate on this. This might be interesting to wrap it up next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
The following radio ad is Good Fun Squad approved.
Hello, I'm Gerald, and I'm a South Dakota lottery accountant. I've been asked to remind you that lottery games should be played only for fun. Set a budget and ask for help if you need it, because too much fun is not good fun. I believe I was asked to read this ad because I wear a suit and do math for a living, so people think I'm not fun. But just last weekend, I installed a software upgrade without reading the terms or conditions. So there. Please play responsibly and learn more at keepthefungood.com.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Anderson has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Anderson has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Anderson. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
Hey Black Hills, this is Scott Hanna. And this is Adam Ray, and we have a full-service mechanical repair shop, Gateway Tire and Alignment, right here, right now. We have top-of-the-line equipment with skilled, experienced, expert mechanics offering all services from oil changes starting at $49.95 to brakes, to free AC checks, diagnostics, engine work, even diesel. We can get you in now. No more waiting for weeks to get your car in for service. We're your one-stop shop for sales and service. Visit us at 123 Omaha or go to GatewayAutoplex.com to book your appointment. Gateway Sales and Service. I'm Scott Hanna. And I'm Adam Ray. And nobody, I mean nobody, beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 30. Winds out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 60. Tomorrow, mainly sunny. Lows around 46. Tomorrow night, mainly cloudy skies. Much warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs from the upper 70s to the low 80s. Showers both days. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 46.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, welcome back in. Glad you're here tonight. Appreciate you being a part of the program, and thanks for making us part of your day. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Radio, wrapping up the week and heading into Masters weekend with Rob Kegron live in studio. So a debate in the office. You're watching the Masters. You said you watched it. You got your coffee, all this now. You've been watching it all day. So what type of snacks? I mean, what's a snack that you're eating when you're watching the Masters? Would you love to have, if I went to the store and I got you some white cheddar popcorn, would you like the cheddar popcorn for a snack?
Not really. No, I'm not a big cheddar popcorn person at all. I like regular popcorn. I don't like cheddar popcorn.
It's the debate of the Nate Brown Show today. Cheddar popcorn or regular popcorn?
Regular with butter. Absolutely.
No, by far.
By far. Not even close. I would take kettle corn or caramel corn over cheddar popcorn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Caramel is like cheddar is like at the bottom of all the popcorn.
It is absolutely at the bottom. It's not on my snack list. My wife keeps trying to tell me you should have cheddar popcorn. Matt Kearney's trying to tell me you should eat cheddar popcorn. I don't want messy hands. I don't want any of that. It's a mess.
I like that. I'll just say this. When you teased that I'm a chef, I had no idea the conversation was going to go down to cheddar popcorn or That's well done, Nate. That is very well done radio.
No cheddar popcorn. Your snack is what?
Whatever is there.
Anything. Potato chips.
Yeah, chips, sure.
Not cheddar popcorn.
Cheddar popcorn.
And it's not entering that category anytime soon.
No, it's at the bottom of all the popcorns.
By the way, we asked AI Colin Cowherd as well.
Oh.
You like cheddar popcorn? He does.
Oh. Well,
he does.
He's not right on everything, that AI Colin Cowherd.
That is correct. For Rob Kagron, it's Nate Brown. We will not be in on the Cheddar Popcorn. Matt Kearney will save it all for himself. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We are back next week, ready to go, and we'll be back on a Monday with a Masters champion. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now.
It was only a few in the beginning, one here, one there.